Hello and welcome to CKE 10,000 Less Gaming Channel. In this video, we'll be looking at my Milky Holmes JP deck profile. So let's look at the level zeros first. So I'm running 3 copies of this Ellie, which is if your hand has 6 or more cards, this card gets plus 1,000 power and hand encore continuous. So 3 copies. Running 1 copy of this Cordelia, the funny art. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1 to discard a card. If you do, you search your deck for a character, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, and then shuffle your deck afterwards. And when this card attacks, if you have 1 or less other characters, you may place the top card of your deck into your waiting room. If that character's level is 0 or lower, place it on the stage in your back row. So it's a plus. And then I'm running 4 copies of kind of this critical Ellie card. Your other character in the center slot of the front row get plus 500 power, so the middle position of center stage. And this ability activates up to once per turn. When a card is placed in your level slot, you can pay 1 stock. If you do, look up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 detective character, show it to your opponent, add it to your hand, and place the remaining cards into your waiting room. Almost like a brainstormer. And then I'm running 3 copies of this Cordelia. At the beginning of your climax phase, you can choose one of your detective characters, and that character gets plus 1,000 power. And rest 2 of your detective characters, and then choose 1 card from your level and 1 card in your waiting room and exchange them, which helps trigger the Ellie. I'm running 2 copies of this level 0 hero. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can put the top 3 cards of your deck into your waiting room. And when this card becomes reversed, if this card's battle opponent is level 0 or lower, you can place that character into your opponent's stock, and then place the bottom card of your opponent's stock into their waiting room. And I'm running 2 copies of the Cheryl. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard a climax. If you do, choose a detective character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. Then 2 copies of the crying Ellie here. When this card is placed on stage from hand, if your opponent has 1 or less characters in the front row, choose 1 of your opponent's characters in the front row, and during this turn it gets minus 3,000 power. And when the damage dealt by this card is cancelled, you may put this card into your stock. And for level 1s, I'm running 4 copies of the level 1 Ellie combo. When this card attacks, if you have the gold board climax in your slot, you may choose 1 detective character in your waiting room and place it into your stock. And this ability activates up to once per turn. When your climax is placed into your level slot during this turn, this card gets plus 2,500 power. And I'm running 4 copies of the level 1 Cheryl. This ability activates up to once per each turn. When you use an act, you can pay 2. If you do, choose 1 of your detective characters from your waiting room and return it to your hand. And this ability activates up to once per each turn. When your character is placed, when a card is placed into your level slot, choose 1 of your characters, and that character gets plus 1,500 power until end of turn. And then for level 1, we're running 4 copies of the Ellie backup. When you use this card's backup effect, you can choose 1 card in your level slot and 1 climax in your waiting room and exchange them. And it's a 103k backup. And then this Nero does the same thing, but just yellow. And at level 2, we're running 1 copy of this level 2 here. And then when your other character becomes reversed during battle, choose 1 of your characters, and that character gets plus 3,000 power until end of turn. And rest 2 of your detective characters, choose 1 card from your level slot and waiting room and exchange them. Then running 1 copy of the Ellie promo, I believe. And when this card is reversed, if this card's battle opponent is higher than your opponent's level, you may put the top card of your opponent's clock into your waiting room and put that card into the opponent's clock. So it's a clock bomber. Early play clock bomber. And at level 3, we're running 3 copies of the Halloween Cheryl here. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can heal 1. This ability activates once per turn. Pay 1, discard a card, which is the cost. When your card is placed into the level slot, you may pay this cost. If you did during this turn, this card gets plus 1500 power and gains the following ability. When this card's battle point becomes reversed, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Then I'm running 2 copies of the promo Nero. Has 3 effects. Experience: if there's a climax in your card in your level zone, this card gets -1 level, so early play. If you have 2 or more detective characters, it gets plus 1k. And when this card is placed on stage, draw 2, ditch 1. I'm running 2 copies of the Restanding Ellie, I believe it was. Experience: if the total cards in your level is 6 or higher, this card gets plus 1500 power, and this ability activates once per turn. During the turn this card is placed on stage from your hand. When your character in the center slot of the front row attacks, you can pay 2, discard 2 detective characters. If you do, stand this card. And 2 copies of the Cheryl. When this card is placed on stage, you may choose 1 detective character from your weight room, return it to your hand, and the second effect is a climax combo. When this card's battle point becomes reversed, you can pay 1. If you have the door climax, you can deal 4 damage to your opponent, and this ability can be activated once per 1 turn, which is the third effect. When your climax is placed into the level slot during this turn, this card gets plus 2500 power. And then the last 8 cards are the climax cards. 4 copies of the Gold Bar Climax for your level 1 combo, and 4 copies of the door for your level 3 combo. Alright, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, check EncoreDecks.com and the link in the description below to see an overview of this deck build.